Alright, here we are this morning with the new Eagle Descendant Carbon crank. It's a dub setup. And there it is. I'm going to put that absolute black oval chainring on there. But first I figured I'd weigh them up and see where we're at weight-wise. This one I believe is like 625 grams, which we'll get to in a sec. This one is supposed to be about 550, but with that chainring, you'll notice the absolute black chainring weighs a lot less. But I've been hemming and hawing over getting this crank for a while. I decided screw it, so it's my birthday, so I went ahead and got it. So we'll be right back in a sec with the weights. Alright, first up we're going to do the crank that came factory on my Giant Advanced Pro 1 Rain, and that was this. So let's see what it's gonna weigh. $624 grams. Alrighty, 625. I believe I showed that in one of my earlier videos, but yeah, it still weighs 625. Now let's see what this sexy little crank weighs. $558. Not bad. I do have the booties on there, so that's gonna add a few grams. But not bad at all. Now we're going to flip that chain ring over to the carbon crank. See where we're at. Now, because I'd already had the absolute black chainring on, I'm going to put this chainring back on the factory crank so you can get an idea of the weight difference. Factory chainring, factory crank to the Descendant Carbon crank with the absolute black chainring. The absolute black chainring. Actually, you know what? Let's just weigh it. No. Alright, that compared to that, compared to that, compared to that, compared to that. Alright, I'm back. Factory chainring. Chainring that came on the Dub Descendant Carbon crank. Absolute black. They sound different too. Yeah, so I guess we have to steal one. $143. That was the factory one that came on the Advanced Pro 1 Rain. $79.80. That's the one that came on the Descendant Carbon crank. Absolute black. 56. Alright, I'll be back with the chain rings on the cranks and we'll weigh them up then. Alright, we're back. The chain rings are swapped over. Now we're going to weigh them in. Zero it out. There, everything is on. 710 grams. It's what came factory on the All Carbon Advanced Pro 1 ring. Now let's read up the other one. $533. So, saving 187 grams with the carbon crank and boots.
Actually, that's 177 grams.
What does 187 grams work out to?
Actually, 177 grams works out to 6.24 ounces.
Slide it through. Ooh, got it lined up right. So we're supposed to tighten it to 54 Newton meters. So I'm gonna go get my torque wrench. All right, got my torque wrench set up to 54.2 Newton meters. It's gonna have to be enough. Get it in there. Make sure you have it loosened off in the back. Make sure you do that first. Yeah, make sure you have the spacing wing nut thingy that's on each SRAM one loosened off on the back before you tighten it, because it will cinch it tight. Alright, now we can torque it. There you go. Now, you see how that's moved a little bit? You tighten that nut down in the back until it doesn't move anymore. I already tightened that up back there because nobody needs to see that.
With a 2 mil Allen key.
And yeah, we'll get to putting the chain spacer back on. Now we're going to put the MRT chainring protector and chain holder back on. Now it's fun because you have this little slidey thing back here. And you gotta put this piece on. And they all have to line up. That almost like I've done it before. So we're gonna want to get that tight hitch and bring it down so it's mostly covering here. I think we can go down a little further yet. And go until it rubs. Well, it doesn't rub, but see, it's still going to hold the chain on. And we still have clearance at the top of the oval. So I think we can nurse it down just a little bit more. Still not rubbing, so you don't want to over tighten it, but give it a decent cinch up. And as you can tell, the way this is set up, it protects the oval pretty much everywhere. Actually, it does protect it everywhere. Alright, we're back. Everything's installed. I went through the shifting, it was all good. I guess the only thing left to do now is to take it out for a ride. See how it goes.
Well, we saved about 6.24 ounces.
Off it from factory with the absolute black chainring and the Descendant Carbon crank. It's a raised face stem, carbon handlebar, one up. You can see a previous video about those if you scroll back. And I went with some Maxxis Forecaster tires for a little bit more fall riding. Had the Schwalbe's on there, the Racing Ralph, and Nobby Nick up front. They were good in the summer, but I didn't want to scrub out and die. So I put those on. Maybe eventually we'll go back to the Minions. Get the other tires up there. Thank you. But yeah, let's go for a ride. I'm sure it'll all pretty much be the same. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you in a bit.